on there. Okay, greetings, fellow armchair imagineers. Tiki here.
And Monkey. And
I'm
what are we
not, I'm
talking
not
Mr. Bolt or something? I can't talk to Mr. Bolt.
I'm not actually Tiki. Tiki's dead tonight. So
We'll bring him back at some point.
yeah, eventually we've usurped him for the time being, but he's working his way back up,
Yeah,
and he'll be back.
To say for tonight anyway.
Yeah. So hey, Monkey here. We're gonna talk about our Florida trips.
Yes, because where did you go?
I went to Disney World. Where did you go?
That answer your question.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Ironically, only one of these characters is in the Studios park. The rest are in islands. Even though it says Universal Studios Florida.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, well, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go to Universal. I was trying to
do
that this time.
Didn't you say the last time you were there, Kong was still there?
Yes, last time I was there was like 2001.
Oh, 2001. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting touch to this. You haven't been to Universal in quite some time, clearly. I haven't been to Disney World in not quite that long of time, but still 6 years. It feels like quite a while ago. Things have definitely been changing.
Yeah, yes they have. Yeah. So
yeah, I guess we'll talk about our experiences, about the parks themselves, and if I may steal one of your puns, we'll see who's the true king.
yeah, I forgot about that.
I know, me too. I was watching the Disneyland Fun one recently. I'm like, okay, next time I'm gonna podcast with Blue. I'm bringing that back.
I even bought a deck of cards at Disney.
Oh hell yes!
I'm bringing it back. Oh, yeah. It's back.
Cards are back, bitches.
Oh, blast from the past.
Cards are back, bitches. Maybe Universal could turn it into a ride, also.
Oh, they shouldn't. Yeah, Cards Are Back, bitches. The movie.
Yes, it'll be the new game changer. It'll be better than anything in Potter World. Either of them.
They should like branch out of Nintendo and just go to games in general, including board games. Yeah. It'll be great.
There was this moment I thought of for that Disney Nintendo Universe project. I would freaking love it if it turns up in whatever they do, like a sort of Spider-Man Transformers type ride. And at one point, at one of the screens, the vehicle jumps on Goombas.
I don't know how they do that, but that would be incredibly cool. And they could.
I mean, just in front of the screen, you have the animation playing in the vehicle and sync with it.
It could work. They just need to get the bounce mechanism, really, which isn't that difficult.
Yeah, I mean, just whatever degrees of motion those vehicles have.
Yeah. Huh. So how was Universal?
Very nice. Kind of hot, but yeah, I guess I went during a sort of slowish period. Like I got back like literally 2 weeks ago tonight. Feels like longer, but yeah, we left right like the Friday before Memorial Day. So
okay,
yeah, so like people were kind of starting to come in the last day or two, like especially school groups.
Yeah,
but, yeah, it was still did fine, and of course. Having Universal Express helped. Yay, hotel benefits.
Yeah. Oh, did you stay on property? Or?
Yeah, I stayed at Royal Pacific.
Cool, okay.
Lovely place. Very nice hotel. Very nice. So where did you stay, may I ask?
Where did I stay? I stayed at French Quarter, which I've never stayed at before, and it was really nice. Might like...
I'm a board man myself.
I've been wanting to stay there there's a ton of hotels I want to stay at, but I haven't.
Yeah.
I think I like Riverside better in terms of in terms of Port Orleans hotels. But I really like French Quarter because it's unbelievably small. It's the smallest resort on property. There's 7 and it's really nice because there's nobody there. But I think I like the theme of Riverside better. So tell us about your experiences in
Universal. Well,
yes.
Okay, so this of course was my first time there. My first time in Florida, that wasn't exclusively Disney. Like I mean, it was just Universal this time, although humorously enough, I did catch a glimpse of Disney World on the plane right in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like I could see Space Mountain and Spaceship Earth and Dolphin.
I always look out for it, but I never see it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only time that's happened to me. None of the other times I've been there, that hasn't happened.
Yeah,
I also caught a glimpse of islands on the way in. That hasn't happened either.
I'm sorry?
I also caught a glimpse of islands on the way in. Islands of Adventure. Cool. That hasn't happened either. Well, again, I was going there anyway. So,
yeah.
You know, first glimpse, like, is that? I think I see islands. It looks like Dueling Dragons and the Hulk and Lagoon. I don't recognize anything that could be the studio's park.
We never see it because we always fly in. They fly us over the Atlantic, so I just never see it when we're landing. But
right, yeah.
But
yeah, and it's kind of with Universal. I mean, it has been on my it has been on my consciousness, whatever it's been. Oh, I've been aware of it for a long time, like since I was young. Like I still remember, like, of course, say the old Nickelodeon game shows at the end, they'd be like, filmed at Universal Studios, Orlando, Florida.
Oh my god.
Like Captain Crunch Instant Win things. Like,
yeah.
I still remember that.
The one time I went to Universal, or the last time I went to Universal, the Nick Studios was still open. Oh, they had the Double Dare set, and it was incredible.
I was able to catch a glimpse of what's it's now Blue Man Group's theater.
I checked
out it's like they have a piece of the Berlin Wall in some little corner by the Hard Rock Cafe for some reason.
That's weird.
Yeah, and I could see Blue Man Group's theater from and it was kind of neat, like sort of recognizing the sort of shape of the Nick building.
Yeah. No, a lot of the interiors of the Nick building are still there.
Why?
Blue Man Group's only in one of the sound stages.
Like,
Adam the Woo went into it, actually. And that was, like, 3-4 years ago. And it's still there. Like, they haven't really done anything with it, as far as I'm aware. So, like, it's weird. Like, everything's there, except for that one sound stage. It's now Blue Man Group.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it was a damn cool place.
Yeah, so it's cool to see, you know, things that I've known about for some time, type of experience. Like, I remember the first time we went to Disney, we considered taking a little bit of time out to check out Universal, ended up not happening, which I'm good with. I'm good with how it turned out, how things have turned out. Problem is, now I have 2 places to be all nostalgic, and when can I go back? 3 if you can Broadway, but we're sticking on East Coast, on Florida theme parks for now. And interesting, we both offer water taxis. Interesting.
What the?
Huh?
What offers water taxis? I'm sorry.
Both Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando.
Do they have a water taxi there?
Universal?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like there's a dock in City Walk, and you can take it to any of the 3 deluxe hotels.
No shit. I'm sorry. I haven't been to Universal forever.
Yeah.
Literally the only thing I remember of City Walk is they had a photo op where you can stand on a surfboard. And as far as I'm aware, that's still there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's still there.
I don't know why it's still there, but it is. I remember seeing pictures of it on a theme park review like a year ago. It was like, oh my god, I have that picture from 2001.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that. How about you, Mister?
Disney was cool. I went down actually 2 weeks ago today. So the day you left is the day I came down. But
right, 24-hour event because you were there.
Yes. Well, I was there for some of it.
Theoretically, I guess I could have attempted going to Disney's, but instead I was just like, no, screw it. I'm going straight to bed. And pretty quickly. And from what I've heard about what happened out here, I dodged a bullet.
Oh yeah,
Apparently, like I said this before. Apparently, the only time I've gone to a 24-hour event here, apparently it was the best one out of the 4. Yeah, lucky me, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, so So I haven't really heard horror stories about Florida. What happened out there?
There haven't been a lot of horror stories that I was aware of. We got to the parks at 4? 4 or 5. We landed
Were
at...
they all open 24 hours?
I'm sorry?
Oh, were all of them open?
No. No, just Magic Kingdom, I'm sorry.
Just Magic Kingdom, okay.
Yeah. I actually didn't realize that they opened DCA for the entire 24 hours. But, I mean, it makes sense, just because the resort's so small. But, and everything's so close. But, yeah, I got to the park at, like, 4 or 5. We landed at 10. Got to the hotel by noon. Waited 3 hours to get into our room because we told the guy checking us in that we were going to the parks. So he took that as we were immediately going to the parks, so he didn't check us in. So
Magical Express or no Magical Express?
No, we took Magical Express.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, jerk with the camera. I totally get your points about how it's an example of Disney trying to take over the world, but nevertheless, it is very helpful.
Oh, it absolutely is. We don't have to worry about our luggage. We just show up, and it's great.
The last time I went, it was like maybe 4 or 5 something in the morning. I want to say 5 something in the morning. Like, my parents and I were the only ones on that bus.
Yeah. No, we were the same way. And when we went, there were like 10 people on the bus. But it was at like 10 in the morning. But we got to the park by like 4.
Mm-hmm.
It was very crowded. We used fast passes. We just did whatever.
You used like Fast Pass Plus at all?
Yeah, Fast Pass Plus. Let me get to that a little bit later because I have slight problems with it. Less problems than other people have with it, but I do have problems with it. So it was just stupidly crowded. I got on a few rides, but it was still really crowded. We just hung out at the park, did whatever. I stayed until like 3. And the only reason I left at 3 was because out of all the big rides, none of them were under an hour wait. So I kind of said, fuck it. And I wasn't going to deal with it anymore. But apparently right after I left, all the lines went down.
Of course they did.
Yeah, but... Yeah.
I just picture like you're outside. I don't know why Space Ranger Spin comes to mind, but I just picture that like a humongous wait. You're like, fuck it, I'm leaving. You leave. Somebody peeks out. Okay, he's gone. Wait goes down to like 20 or 30. We gotta keep you off of Space Ranger Spin.
You got nothing tonight. Everyone just leaves.
It's all Zurg's plot.
Yeah.
What did you do to Zurg?
I'm sorry. I just wanted to ride the rides. I'm sorry. Yeah. So
You will not ride this ride.
Not today. So yeah, the lines were stupid. Part of the reason that the lines were stupidly long was it was odd. It was really odd that for the first 3 days I was down there, half of the wait time signs were broken.
Really?
I don't know why. Big Thunder Mountain had a 60-minute wait. It was posted as 25, and the cast member at the door was saying that he couldn't get it to work. So
Weird.
He had to get his manager to override it, but it was weird like that.
It's also Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
They're teaming up with Zurg.
Yeah. Everyone was against me that night. It was so odd though, actually, because around 10 o'clock it rained for 2 hours. So
Florida.
Yeah. But actually that was like one of 3 times it rained that weekend. But
I think for us it didn't really rain until like kind of there were a couple more rains in like the last couple full days, but it was really funny. Like it's like I want to say 3rd day we're there. So we get out of the horror makeup show. It's raining. So like we kind of find cover, and then it starts raining some more. Like it starts definitely coming down, and then we hear, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Universal Superstar Parade," and the parade goes through in the rain. So entertainment.
Yeah. No, I mean like
we saw respite in the SpongeBob store at one point, and yes, I realized the irony of going into a SpongeBob store to escape getting wet.
Yeah. It's
Anyway.
I mean. In terms of the parade, like, they're used to it at that point. They probably design half the
Yeah.
parades will operate in the rain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love that they do that. But yeah, but so I went on literally every show in the park. And it was really odd because it was the first time I've ever been on Carousel of Progress with more than 10 people. And I absolutely love Carousel of Progress, but
nice.
yeah, it was just so odd to
More than 10 people.
Yeah, it was like every time I go on, it's like maybe 20 people in the audience, and this time I went on, theater was 75% full, and everyone was awake, and it was incredible. I was so ecstatic.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, same thing with the Tiki Room. Actually, I go on to a packed theater, and I've never done that before. It was just really cool.
I just have this image like it's pouring outside like a few years ago back when it was under new management, and the theater is still empty.
Yeah, I mean probably. I really wish I went to Country Bears actually. But like, oh, it was so sad because like I got in line for the Tiki Room, and there were so many people in line. I was like, oh, this is gonna be magical. And like, I go inside, and just nobody was having any of it. They were all just there to get out of the rain, and I was so disappointed. But that's beside
Country Bears, because it'll be interesting whenever I get back when I do Country Bears because of all the revamp they did.
They didn't change a ton.
Like I haven't seen a video of it in a long time, but it was like stuff was shortened and cut and rearranged, and the bears got new fur, which looks a lot more fake, and some of them are redesigned.
The only one that's weird is Gomer.
Yes, Gomer.
He's really fucking weird. Liverlips Grell has a weird wig, but other than that, he looks exactly the same. And past that, the other ones are pretty
similar.
The same, yeah. They're not terribly different. It's really just Gomer that's weird.
Yeah, Gomer.
But
phase. We don't know if he's ever going to get out of it.
Yeah, he just has
his encounter with Zurg.
Jesus Christ!
How many Zurg jokes will I force into this?
Oh, I'm counting. We're now at 3.
Yeah.
He just has a really out of place fedora, but it's really odd. But yeah, it was weird because it rained for 2 hours, yet nobody left the park, and nobody was deterred, and I don't understand how or why. But it made for a great Splash Mountain ride because the entire week they were not dispatching the ride correctly. So
how so?
They would dispatch all 3 as they're supposed to, but they would all dispatch at the exact same time. So they were maybe 20 feet apart from each other. So especially at the 24-hour event, I would go down
throughout the ride, throughout the actual ride.
Yes. So like especially during the 24-hour event, like I would go down drops, and the log behind me would follow directly behind the log I was in. So it was kind of frightening. And also with the flumes being overfilled from the rain, it was an incredible ride. But I thought we went off the track for a second. Like honestly.
What part?
The drop going into the laughing place.
Had a feeling.
It was the one that dips down and up. I was thinking it was one before that, but it was that one. Like right at that corner, the one was right behind us, so it goes in, and we just like went up and back down. And I was like, oh my god. But yeah, it was nothing really bad happened.
Okay, that's good.
It was just really crowded. It got bad the night after. It was so much worse the next day. It was really weird. Cause I don't know why it was so crowded because the crowds were so bad that we went to Epcot and still couldn't get on anything because the lines were so bad. But
crowds were so bad we went to Epcot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we were like, oh, we can get food.
Sorry,
at Epcot. Yeah. We'll get food. Lines will be less, and they weren't.
Speaking of Epcot, dare I ask how the Norway Pavilion looks?
Oh, it's sad. I was actually very surprised to see that even the old Viking ship playground.
Yeah,
that's behind walls now too, which makes me even more frightened for what's coming.
you know, if I may share this, like, my sort of like tired of Frozen person and annoyed with the whole Maelstrom situation guy just pictures this, and if this is actually in the ride, what the fuck, Disney? But I just picture like you go to the part where it switches back to forward, and for whatever reason, like you've been told, like, I don't know, maybe Elsa accidentally caused the backwards thing to happen, like, go to Hans, he can save you. So then, like, you're facing forward, Hans is there, he says, oh, Torrance, if only there was someone out there who loved you, pulls the lever, sends you down the drop.
Oh, this needs to happen. I would fully support the ride if that ever happens. But
yeah.
It was,
how's Test Track out there? The new Test Track.
First time I went on it, which was right after it opened, not right after it opened, a few months after it reopened.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I still like it this time, but I'm quickly becoming more and more aware of how much of a cheap reskin it is.
What? A cheap reskin?
Yeah, they did a lot. They did a lot to it, but at the same time, you can tell that they just like put boards over things.
Yeah. I've only seen POVs like once or twice right when it opened, so I'm not familiar with every change they did.
Like, the changes are cool. My only problem is that it's very, very obvious that it's a lot of screams, really. Which they could do a lot more with that pavilion. Also, getting back to Norway for a second, they changed the stave church, which disappoints me slightly. Now it's, I mean, honestly, they changed it to Frozen. And I honestly...
Surprise!
Sort of. Wait, it makes a lot more sense when I explain what they did.
Was it supposed to be like that cathedral from the movie?
No, it's still the stave church. It's still about culture of Norway, but it's more about how Frozen was influenced by Norwegian culture, which is not bad. But at the same time, they changed everything inside of it, and now they have costumes from Frozen explaining how people in Norway might have worn something similar.
Yes, these are authentic costumes that were used in the movie.
Yes.
In the animated movie.
These are actual movie props from Frozen. But,
yeah.
like, honestly, I think that should have been Frozen's presence in Norway.
Yeah.
And I would have been okay with it. But now they did what they did. And I'm not a fan. But that's beside the point. Test Track's good. I saw the Inside Out preview, actually.
Oh, I haven't really been... I haven't seen any Inside Out previews, like, you know, trying to keep it fresh for when I see it.
Oh, yeah. No, I want to see it because it opened while I was down there.
Is that like Captain EO Theater? Or?
Yep, that's in where Captain EO is. I don't know what the future of that is. But, it was Tomorrowland, and then last Saturday they switched it over to Inside Out. So I went over Saturday to see it, and it was really cool. They used the plate in the theater, so it bounced, which was really interesting, and I didn't think they were gonna do that. But it was cool to see. It looks like it'll be a great movie.
Yeah. Speaking of Tomorrowland, if I may, I'm sure we'll get to Gringotts eventually, but. Have you seen Tomorrowland, the movie?
I have not. I've been meaning to. I will at some point.
Okay. This happens early on, so I'll just say it, but what they do with Small World kind of, in my eyes, it kind of turns into an Escape from Gringotts. The beginning of Escape from Gringotts.
What do they do with it?
Okay, so let's just say, so, like, if you have the Tomorrowland pin, like, then you just... Like, some sensor picks it up, then the boat stops and goes down a drop.
Huh.
Yeah. And that, so you can access Tomorrowland. But...
I'll see it. I need to see this movie. Someday.
Yeah,
in the near future.
We'll get to Gringotts later, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm sorry for rambling about Disney.
No, it's good. What else has been happening in Epcot? Wonders of Life is still lifeless, I assume.
Sadly. Spaceship Earth is still Dame Judi Dench. Living with the Land is still beautiful. We had a very angry cast member there. He was...
Living with the Land?
Yeah.
Live with the land, damn it!
It was so weird. Like he kept like, it was the he was working. He was dispatching. So like he was working like the actual like he was working the whatchamacallit, the board. So
The
like
thing.
yeah he was working the thing. So like he was just yelling at people like over the microphone with the most goddamn like it was so with such conviction. It was just so angry. Like the line was surprisingly long, and part of that's because of My Magic Plus, which I'll get into later. But like people are on their cell phones, and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of people in this line, so please, if you can look up from your cell phones for 5 seconds and move up in the line will move a lot quicker. Thank you." And I'm like, "What the fuck? What? Are you okay? Did something happen?"
Yes, it happened.
Like, it was great. I was trying not to laugh too because we got off. We went on the line. We went on the ride. He was still working dispatch, and then we get off the ride, and he's working unload, and that made me laugh because I like to think that they moved him because he was yelling too much into the microphone, because he was even when we were in the ride, and it was really odd. But
in the ride,
yes, he made 1 or 2 announcements, and they were both as angry. But it was really odd. We also almost stalled on Living with the Land.
Really?
It was so... I don't know why. Like, we're going down the flume, and the flume is supposed to propel you, because it's a flume. And as we're going into the last scene right at the end of the greenhouse, we just slow down. I don't know why. It stopped. Our boat stopped. And we thought they were going to have to, like, take us out. And it continued, and I was actually very disappointed. But it was really, actually, I'm sorry for rambling. I just keep rambling. I went on People Mover.
Yay,
twice.
People Mover.
I mean, I went on it pretty much once a day when I went to the park.
Ah, you have it.
Yeah.
You're closer to it.
I'm sorry?
You're closer to it.
Yeah.
To a functioning one.
You have the tracks. Your tracks of friggin' safety maintenance rails now. So they look ugly. But it was really, I'm sorry. It was really
It's good. It's good, bro.
It was so odd because the last 2 times I went on it, the day before I left and the day we left, in the tunnel behind Stitch, the ride stopped, and we thought they were gonna evac us, and I was so sad when they didn't, because it's weird, because every time the ride stops, they announce that the ride stopped and not to get up, and then the work lights come on, and then you just sit there for 2 minutes, and then they say the ride's gonna start up again in a minute. And I don't understand why it does that, but that's my ramble about almost getting evac'd out the People Mover twice. But it was really odd. Imagination's still in terrible shape. As always. They need to do something with it. They need to. They absolutely goddamn need to.
The Hatbox goes back, if that's any good sign.
It's not a good sign, because I'm sure that the only reason they brought back the Hatbox Ghost is because of the 60th. I'm ecstatic that they did it, but I think if it was 5 years ago, they would not have brought that back, the Hatbox Ghost.
Right. That is possible.
Yeah. But I wish I went on Universe of Energy, but I did not. But I've also heard that Ellen's no longer in that. The animatronic. She is still in it. I don't know why the animatronic is. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'll stop.
It needs to be repaired or something?
I don't know. She's apparently been out for a while. I'm hoping to Christ it's because they're gonna do something with the pavilion. Hopefully keep it Universe of Energy, because that's a great ride. And at least keep the ride system, because the ride system's spectacular. And it really is a one of a kind ride system. And
keep speaking.
Sorry?
Nothing, just unplugging the charger.
Oh, sorry. Um, I went on the new Great Movie ride.
Oh yeah, but what's new about it aside from Q stuff?
So, this is the Q stuff. They in the queue they have all the posters inside are now they're now screens that cycle through a bunch of different movie posters. Um, at each display there is a little LCD screen that cycles through more movie facts. The pre-show video has been completely updated, which is great, and it's hosted by Robert Osborne, where he talks about various genres that are featured in the ride. And then it becomes bad because you get on the ride, and half of the ride is narrated by Robert Osborne, who what?
Wait, half the ride is narrated.
Yes, by Robert Osborne.
So do they still have
yes
live cast members on there? Or?
Yes, they still do the
Gangsters and Cowboys.
Yeah, they still do the hijack.
The hijacking, yeah.
And like all that's the same, but it's so odd because I'm not sure if it's in the contract or Disney said, hey, this would be a great idea, but there's such a disconnect now because there's the Robert Osborne stuff, and then there's the cast member trying to play off of that, and it just doesn't work.
They're both like playing in conjunction with each other, playing off each other then?
A little bit. Like there's not really like banter, but there's some like they say a thing, then Robert Osborne says a thing, but it's just really disconnected.
Even outside of the hijacking stuff.
Yes, even in the hijacking, Robert Osborne says a few things.
Yeah, because I remember like during the hijacked portion there would be a narrator.
Yeah, but that was only in the alien scene.
Well, it was in the Wild West and Aliens and Raiders.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, but yeah, Robert Osborne. Yeah.
So they just added more outside of that?
Yeah, but it doesn't really work. Like, the first 3 scenes really set the tone of the ride, because the ride starts out exactly as it used to. Like, they have all waiting for you, CB, all that stuff. They do the regular intro, then they set off, and they have the usual welcome to Great Movie Ride, movies, I love movies, and they're like, welcome Robert Osborne. And then Robert Osborne's like, oh, hello, with his lisp. And he continues about talking about movies, and as we pass the first 3 movies, he literally says, this is Busby Berkeley's Footlight Parade. Here on your left is Singing in the Rain. Oh, look, it's Mary Poppins. And that's literally all he says about each of those movies. And that really sets the tone. Because it doesn't get better.
Is it like an all-right read, at least?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Robert Osborne's he's good at narrating because he does it on TCM.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, of course I'm going to mention Bill Paxton later.
Yeah. It just doesn't work as well as it should. And I feel... I hope that a lot of it is because I went on the ride the second day it was in operation. But there's a huge disconnect, and it's really concerning, and it really makes me sad.
Well, how's the montage at the end?
Montage is good. The only thing I don't like is that the montage starts with Robert Osborne. Like, it starts out the same, how it has the star screen and the organ music, which I really like because that plays directly into the silent film era, which is where the montage starts. And that there's a sort of disconnect in that because that organ music stops, and then Robert Osborne comes in and says, thank you for riding the Great Movie Ride, and then they start the montage, which is it's good. It's good. It's definitely an improvement on what it used to be. There's a few things, like I don't like how the silent era section was a little shortened. They used a better Chaplin clip. They used better silent comedy clips. But the only thing I didn't like was that they had talking. Like, they showed a clip from a talkie before they showed the You Ain't Heard Nothing Yet clip from the jazz singer. So that kind of chronological
the significance a little.
Exactly. Chronologically, that doesn't quite work because that ruins the transition that was originally there from now it's silent. Oh shit, sound.
It's friggin' jazz singer.
Yeah, and then sound. But the rest of that's fine. The only thing I don't like is the end, because it just the end of it turns into a bunch of like small screens of movie clips like shooting into the background while there's this singular theme playing. A really repetitive theme, actually. And I'd be okay with it if they played Hooray for Hollywood, like what they used to, but it doesn't work quite as well because they have that end music piece. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's from some movie. I'm just not sure what exactly. But so it does that, and then you go back into load, and they're playing Hooray for Hollywood, and the transition does not work. It absolutely does not work as well as it used to.
Huh.
Because like the transition was a little off before, but it worked a lot better because it was Hooray for Hollywood going into Hooray for Hollywood. So it kind of built on itself because you're going from an orchestrated version of Hooray for Hollywood to an actual like sung version of Hooray for Hollywood and load. But it doesn't quite work the same, and it doesn't have the same impact. So like, it's not bad. It doesn't ruin the ride, but it does have problems, and my feelings are generally mixed on it.
Yeah. Well, it does sound like the ride is mostly intact.
Oh, it is. Like everything, physically, the ride is exactly the same.
Okay.
The only thing they changed was Robert Osborne in the montage.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've heard that a few effects that weren't working are now working, but I didn't notice any. But I wasn't really looking. Yeah.
So, how's Disco Yeti?
He's still discoing along.
Yeah.
He's still got his groove. He's doing okay. I wish they'd fix him. Hopefully Avatar Land will alleviate that, because I really do hope that once Avatar Land opens, they finally realize that they can actually close Everest for an extended period of time.
How's the Avatar stuff looking?
Oh, there's not a whole lot. Actually, there's a lot to it. You can't really see it from inside the park.
Okay.
Just because the trees are tall. But if you're like, when you're riding the bus into the park, you can see the main building, and it's pretty large. So I'm still iffy on Avatar, but they're making good progress on it at least.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and all the new Africa stuff is really nice as well.
Right.
They have the new Circle of Life Theater.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then they just opened a new counter service in Africa, which is also that's also really, really cool.
I wonder if they ever do fix that. If they ever do fix the Yeti, are they gonna change the roar?
Oh, I don't even remember his roar.
I'm just making a Matterhorn joke.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, have you heard my theory about the new snowman here?
I have not.
So basically, it's like Harold quit because disagreements over the direction the park was going and the way things were going. They found this new guy who they haven't realized is a dick. He's a troll, and he's pursuing you throughout the ride to throw up on you. So, because he's a dick. That idea kind of works. Makes the ride a lot funnier.
It does. I actually do like the new effects that they put into it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Matterhorn. Although I mean the roar is weird.
Yeah, but change the roar back, and apparently Wells Expedition is gonna reappear somewhere. They're just
is it? Okay. I do like what they put in its place, though.
Yeah, it's all right. Just I'm a bit miffed about what seems to be just ripping out a tribute to a dead man, but we've already kind of been over this in another podcast, so.
I mean, I understand. I do, yeah. I do appreciate the reference, though. Like the new stuff. I'm sure they'll find a place for it. I'm sure there's a ton of places they could.
Apparently, that's what's happening. Apparently, they're just touching it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so.
Yeah. Jungle Cruise is in dismal condition.
Is it?
Holy shit. The water is rust-colored. I went on it twice. The first time, none of the hippos were working, and half of the natives weren't working. That includes the ambush. They just kind of sat there. And it was really sad.
Great. I'm conflicted. We blame Jafar or Zurg?
Both.
Okay.
those red bastards turning the rivers red. That sounds very biblical. But
how's Seven Dwarfs Mine Train?
Very charming.
How does the projected faces look in person?
Not as good as I wish they did.
Really?
They look a lot like the actually pretty exactly like the caterpillar's face in the Electric Light Parade. Except the dwarfs actually have like full animation, but in their face.
Wait, the caterpillar's face isn't a projection though, is it?
The one from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, wait, like a parade. Sorry, it's been a while. I don't know if they changed anything for Florida.
I'm pretty sure he's been the same. He was the same in California. It's a rear projected face on the caterpillar.
Does it move at all?
Yes.
Animated at all?
Yep, it's animated. Well, sort of. It's like weird stagnant animation.
Huh.
But
the best comparison I can think of is that King Trident float in Paint the Night.
I wouldn't be surprised if I haven't seen that. I've been meaning to.
Like King Trident's face in Paint the Night is projected. It's animation.
It's probably the same technology.
Yeah, I think it looks. We'll see if that technology makes its way here in a state similar to Mine Train.
I'm sure it will. That seems to be. They seem to be going in that direction for some things, and I mean it makes sense for a lot. But I like it. The only thing I find weird is that with the nature of it being projecting, their faces light up unnaturally. So and you can see where you can see exactly where the screen is. So it's a little bit obvious, but it's not bad. But I do really like the ride. I wish it was a little bit longer. My favorite part's probably the brake run, actually, because I don't. Have you seen a POV?
Yes.
The silly song.
Yeah.
I really like that. It's a really cool nod. But the only thing I don't like. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go on.
The only thing I don't like about Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is that it's so very obvious that they designed the ride solely for the first car in the train. Because I keep trying to ride the front because I want to get the full experience, but I always end up in the back because they load the ride weird. Because they have the regular queue, and then they cut it off into 2 queues to go to load. But they only have 1 load, so I don't understand the point of having 2 queues. But that's beside the point. So you go into
do they make you go into one or the other, or do you choose?
They make you go into one or the other.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's to get more people into it or push them through quicker, but I mean, if you're gonna have 2 queues, have 2 loads. But it's really odd. But sitting in the back, you go through the mine, like everything's fine, and then before you round the corner is when the hi-ho section starts, and then as you round the corner, Doc has just stopped singing, and then they're all doing like their chorus. And then you start going up the lift hill, and then right as the last car is about to hit Doc, you can hear the work song starting again in the cave in the back. So it kind of ruins a bit.
Interesting.
And the effect is lost.
Huh.
And
okay, so yeah, thanks for warning me about that.
Try to get in the front.
Yeah, whenever I finally get back to WDW.
Yeah, it's a great ride. That's literally my only problem with it. That and the cars are a little bit too low, which is understandable because it's designed for kids.
Mhm.
But if I'm 5'10" and the headrest is going into my shoulders, I'm not entirely sure.
How's the legroom?
Oh, fine. I didn't have any problem with it.
Okay.
But I can see I can see other people having a problem with it, but I didn't really have a problem with it.
So how's the space that was formerly Snow White's Adventures?
I didn't go into it. It's really sad to see. It looks nice, but it's literally just a meet and greet, and it used to be a Clud Coats dark ride, and now it is a meet and greet.
Yeah. The last time I went was the only time I got to go on it. I went on a bunch of times to that trip, and I am so glad I did.
Yeah, I did the same. I went on. Sorry, the last time I went on it was I think it was the last time. It was either the last time I went down or the time before I went. It was the last time I went down. They were just about to close it, and so I rode it as much as I could. So it's sad that it's gone. I've heard that when you go inside, it's weird because you can tell exactly where everything used to be.
Really?
Yeah, apparently. Which I was very tempted to go inside just for that. But I also don't want to meet Anna and Elsa, nor do I want to meet the other princesses. So I didn't go inside. Yeah, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is really nice, though. That's literally my one problem with it. I think if they had a longer hallway before Hi-Ho, the problem would be gone. But I also understand that they probably didn't have space for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it happens. Yeah. Downtown Disney looks nice.
It's nice to hear.
Yeah, it's all behind walls, but they're doing cool things with it. It looks really. It's gonna look nice when they finish it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. No, we'll talk about Universal first. Then I'll rant about my Magic Plus. So, how was Universal?
It was very fun. Just wondering where to begin. Maybe with Islands, because that's where I went first. First park I went into.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a very good first visit to Islands. Like, now I was wondering how cool it would be to finally see the lighthouse in person. Answer: pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, the port of entry, beautiful. The port of entry. Yeah, it's beautiful. Have you been in Islands?
Not since 2001.
Okay, but yeah, I've been there. The port of entry, the entry.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very beautifully themed.
It looks nice from the pictures I've seen of it.
Oh yeah, it is nice. Well, just a kind of general thing, and this sort of applies to both parks. It is kind of a nuisance, like how sometimes if you want to go from one place to another, you pretty much have to go around in part of a huge circle. Like, say, if I want to go from Harry Potter to Spider-Man,
yeah,
I have to, that's literally on the other side of the park. Like, I hear they used to have boats that would go across the lagoon, but they were taken out due to poor attendance or something.
I want to say I remember those boats, actually.
Yeah, it might have been nice to have them around just in the name of transportation. I don't know, maybe it would make things longer, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why they took it out, but at the same time, with a theme park that's like that's designed like that, where it's a circle, and there's nothing in the middle, it totally makes sense to have a boat system.
Yeah. Let's see, I don't know, Marvel Island. See, I did not do Storm Force, Accelatron, or Doctor Doom's Fearfall. Caught glimpses of them. I mean, yeah, I'm so sad I missed out on Storm Force Accelatron. I mean, it's teacups with strobe lights.
I remember going on that. All them years ago.
Yeah, it was like Hulk. It was pretty cool being on that track, I have to say.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, yeah, it was pretty neat. Like, that's the track for Hulk right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm on it. Yeah, it was a fine ride.
How rough is it? I've heard it's rough.
for me, there were a couple spots that were a little headbangery, but for me, it wasn't all that rough.
Yeah.
I mean, I only went on it once, so maybe I'm not the best judge. Like the three big coasters, like Hulk and Dueling Dragons and Rocket, I only went on them once each. Well, half if you count Dragons, because I only did one side.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get to that. Spider-Man is, of course, really good. Really, really good. Yeah, an excellent way to start things off. That was the first ride I did there. And it's interesting, like with the whole Spider-Man and Transformers being in the same resort thing. I mean, just leaving alone the fact that it's the same ride system, there's like 3 moments in Spider-Man that are done again in Transformers. And the second of these moments is notably better in Spider-Man.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly.
Yeah, it's like
it made entire sense for them to put Transformers into Hollywood. But when they put it in
Florida, literally, it was like, I'm not sure. I think Transformers had only been open for like a few days in Hollywood for them to be like, hey, it's doing really well in Hollywood. Let's put it in Florida.
Yeah. And they shouldn't.
I have to say, like, I mean, yeah, I did it once, but out of the clones at Universal Orlando, Transformers is the only one where before the trip I was like a little more hesitant. I would be more okay not doing it because it was the clone.
Yeah.
I mean, but although the fake window images look less fake in Florida.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Toon Lagoon. I think seeing Ripsaw Falls and the drop run out in person might have been the most surreal thing to see in person for me.
Do they have the effects working outside?
Yes and no.
It's disappointing.
Some more reliable than others. I did not do Popeye. I kind of caught a glimpse of the first scene, but I ended up not going on that. Did Ripsaw a couple times.
Ripsaw's great.
It's a nice one. My dad really liked it. Like he's a Jay Ward, Rocky Bullwinkle stuff fan.
Yeah.
I enjoy them too, so the ride was a pleasure. It's kind of funny how the ride is like 2 or 4 Disney tributes, Disney references.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's like, well, the first 2 I'm not sure if they are or if it's just me, but the third and fourth definitely are. Like there are some talking animal heads in the queue, Country Bears, everything. And for some reason, they're voiced by Dom DeLuise and Charles Nelson Riley.
That sounds absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. Maybe a little hard to hear them. Like Ripsaw in general, there are points where it may have been hard to hear what characters are saying in some spots.
It's disappointing.
Yeah. Let's see. Second up, Snidely tries to drop a rock on you at one point. Maybe that's a Snow White reference. I don't know.
I would say not. Yeah.
There's a point where you're in a dark tunnel and there's a train coming.
Oh, I remember that.
Y'all know that. And then, of course, at the end, Snidely in prison trying to get the key from a beaver.
Yeah.
In a lot of Poo-Poo Island prison. No joke. Yeah, kind of funny for Toon Lagoon, like seeing just. I tend to notice, like when you see something in person, it tends to look. It may look either like really small or really big.
Yeah.
That's my observations. A lot of the stuff in Toon Lagoon is pretty big.
Yeah. Toon Lagoon is really surreal in general. Like even like.
I mean, it's like filled with characters the kids of today have no idea who they are.
I know, but that's the beauty of it. And
yeah, I suppose it is.
And I keep hearing rumors that they're gonna take it out, but I absolutely do not hope that. I hope that they don't, because, like, if they take that out, there will never be something like that again. Because it's just so odd of a concept that there is a Jay Ward ride, but it's fucking amazing.
Have you heard about this one original idea for Ripsaw where the idea was that you'd have 2 logs attached to each other? Yeah, and then you'd have the buzzsaw split them apart.
Yeah, which sounds absolutely incredible, but entirely impractical.
Yeah, and then ended up not happening.
Yeah, it would have been cool if they could have pulled it off, though.
Yeah. Jurassic Park, I didn't see the area that... I didn't really explore it that much. Like, I did Jurassic once on the first day. Let's see. Comparing it to Hollywood, I might say Hollywood's is a little more solid.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, the thing that especially comes to mind is the T-Rex bit. I mean, sure, in Florida, it's not... It doesn't swing out on with a big arm, mechanical arm attached to its back, and it's not floating in midair in Florida, unlike Hollywood. But let's compare the way it's presented. So, Hollywood, you're around the corner, you have the dramatic music, you have the voice saying that life support systems are going to terminate in 15 seconds. It's counting down, adding to suspense. You hear that one guy, it's in the building! It's in the building! It's only strobes. T-Rex swings out. You have like 4 or 5 seconds to be like, oh my god, a T-Rex! And then down the drop you go. Florida, you turn the corner. The T-Rex emerges. Oh my god, a T-Rex! Oh my god, a T-Rex! T-Rex! Yeah, there's a T-Rex. Oh my god, drop! Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's also I think the drop's wetter in Florida. The splash at the end.
That doesn't surprise me.
I think in Hollywood they like either raised the track or lowered the water level slightly.
The water's probably lower.
Yeah. I also do like in Hollywood how there's actually a sort of line of conclusion. Like in Florida, just splash down, Jurassic Park music, turn into the station slowly. And then in Hollywood, they do say, have that line, this concludes your tranquil journey through the world of the dinosaurs. Please join us again on your next visit at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Oh, I wish they had that in Florida because that's an incredible end.
Yeah.
just like never acknowledging that nothing happened. That something happened.
Yeah. And maybe you can make a slim argument that the one in Hollywood is supposed to be an attraction at Universal Studios Hollywood, especially with that ending line. But it is kind of nice in Florida at the beginning, have the doors open, and there's no Despicable Me land on the hillside.
No, it is a really cool
now.
thing.
Like, the door opens, Jurassic Park dinosaurs, and up on the hill is Super Silly Funland.
That's great. That's the competing park. Just way distance.
Okay, I'm gonna skip Potter for...
To Jurassic Park. And Super Silly Funland. just goes in. To your left is the Dilapis.
I'll skip Potter for now. Maybe lump both Potterlands in at the same time. Okay. Lost Continent. Eighth Voyage of Sinbad was closed while I was there. I think it opened like right after we left, and I haven't heard good things about it. So.
Wait, what is the Eighth Voyage of Sinbad?
It's like a stunt show.
That's what I thought. The Lost Continent's kind of dead. It has been since Harry Potter came in.
Yeah. It's got Poseidon's Fury. That show was pretty cool.
That's literally the only thing it has going for it. And the restaurant, actually.
Right, Mythos. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. Have you done Poseidon's Fury?
No, I haven't, because I didn't know about it.
Oh, yeah. I'd recommend it. I would.
Yeah, I've seen videos of it, and it looked really cool.
Yeah, so you've seen videos of it. So you know, like, the climax of it, like, with the room changing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And then, like, you're in a small room, and then lights out, and then suddenly, cavernous room! Yeah, the room you were in, it flew up, you're in a cavernous room now! How do you like that? You didn't see that coming. It's like if you go in not knowing that's going to happen, like, you're not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
Like, Poseidon's Fury is one of the few things I knew very little about going in at the time.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I can understand.
No, keep the surprises. Like, I kind of knew the basic premise. I knew about the water tunnel. Aside from that, surprises, things. Seuss Landing, very well designed land. Very well designed. I've heard that because Audrey Geisel approved the land so much, like, she really liked what they did with it. And I've heard that her approval of Seuss Landing helped convince J.K. Rowling to let Universal do Harry Potter World.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. That's a really cool land, though.
Yeah.
And it's weird to see that when you see that the land is literally built out of styrofoam.
Yeah. And
which is really
in palm trees that were in a hurricane.
Yeah, the Hurricane Andrew palm trees.
Yeah.
And
they have the high in the sky Seuss trolley train ride.
Yeah, when I went there, it was still the Sneetches ride.
Sneetches. I mean, it's got a Sneetch motif to it. Yeah.
No, it used to be a before it's the high in the sky Seuss trolley train ride. It was a
It was. I heard it was supposed to be a Sylvester McMonkey McBean thing, but they couldn't get it working, so they just had Seuss in cars going along the tracks.
Yeah, I believe it was working for a very short time. And I want to say I remember it being that, but I didn't go on it. All I went on there was the Cat in the Hat and the one fish, blue, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
I observed the fish one, didn't actually go on it because
it's a cool concept because they
the water.
When you had to do what you have to do is
I'm not sure how helpful that track is though, because it looked like the second round. From what I saw, it looked like the second round you're screwed either way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looked like both the top and the bottom ones were going off during the second round.
Good.
Yeah. No, I did the Seuss trolley once. That was one of the first things I did. Just once, the first day, kind of early on, get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Cat in the Hat is. I went on Cat in the Hat like 9 or 10 times. I mean, not. I mean, very rarely a wait for that. Like mostly a walk on. It's just. I think some of it is also, just the. A sort of thrill of seeing this thing. I've seen it on YouTube so much, and here I am experiencing it in person. Yay! Yeah. And it's physical stuff, not just screens. I'm actually looking at animatronics, like the fish and cat and the things who take over the ride for the middle part of it.
Including I remember that being a really good ride.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Not the most technically aged well, but still a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something interesting with that is there's a few signs in the queue that tell you, I'm gonna paraphrase, they pretty much say you're under video surveillance, so stay in your fucking seat or we'll kick you out of the park. And that's the only ride I saw signs like that on.
Universal.
Just can't that. So I guess skip over to quickly mention City Walk.
Cool.
They've got the drive-in golf course. That was a nice little diversion.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I was able to play both courses. Fun. Yeah, I really like how the 18th hole in the haunted course is a lot of fun.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like you put your ball into this thing that spirals it up like in Winter Summerland with the North Pole things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it goes up one of those and then it goes along all these tracks and such.
Yeah, I've
fun things.
I've wanted to actually do that.
Yeah.
The mini golf, I just haven't been down. Yeah.
Okay, so Studios Park. Rip Ride Rocket. I did it once. Once was enough. Because that one is pretty damn rough.
Yeah, I can see that.
I really wish there was some sort of calm attraction nearby that I could do afterwards, as opposed to sitting in the Twister gift shop for a little bit.
Yeah. No.
Also, the pre-show, the queue videos, the animation is horrid.
Well, when did the ride open? 2008?
9.
9?
Yeah, 2009, I believe.
It doesn't look like that good of a ride. I still I remember when they were everyone was going apeshit because the track makes a treble clef, and I don't understand why people were so excited about that, because it's not really anything special. It's just a twist track. Anyone can do it.
if I may, it is a bit of annoying how like how many lockers or how loose article and friendly Universal Orlando is in general.
They really are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Hollywood. It's only really just Mummy, and I'm assuming Forbidden Journey when that opens. But yeah, a lot of stuff where they'll want to leave them with a non-rider, or they have you use a locker.
Did you go through the metal detector on Hulk?
And Dragons and Rip Ride Rocket.
They have them for all of them?
For all three of them, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Mummy doesn't have one, but there is a thing outside saying to put all loose articles in a locker, like even pocket stuff.
That's what I like about Disney, is that they provide you with that stuff. They purposely put in nets where even on a looping coaster you will not lose it because the net closes. Where I wish Universal did that, but at the same time they're trying to get more money. Not to say that Disney isn't, but
I mean they're still good rides, but
yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
It's bit of a bother.
Yeah.
They've got, let's see, that spot also was Transformers. Shrek, which apparently has 2 theaters out there. I only got to go in one, but it was interesting because it was like the main auditorium is set up differently.
How so?
Than in Hollywood. Okay, so in Hollywood it's kind of like a sort of long theater, and the seats are on a bit of an incline, and you've got there's kind of a stage up front where the screen rests, and you've got the curtain there, and you got the stationary seats in the back. In Florida, the stationaries are in the front. The screen is a bit still in a kind of regular screen place, but like the curtain goes from the ceiling to the ground. It's pretty tall. Maybe I was just in an express theater, but it looked smaller, and all the seats were on ground level.
That's weird.
Yeah, I think the 3D was also slightly wonky in Florida, but they do have some of the effects are a bit more, no pun intended, effective out there. Like there's some wind effects, and like the lighting effects are definitely better in Florida. Like they have some more fun with it, a bit more effective, like some stuff on the wall, like some sort of patterns on the walls during the chase scenes that, when combined with the wind, make it feel a bit more like you're there. There's one I liked where whenever Farquaad is on screen, sees a ghost, there's a sort of bright pale blue light illuminated over whatever part of the audience he would be over.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's most effective the first time, but yes, I really like that touch. And something else, speaking of touches, Cat in the Hat. There's this one touch I really like, it's not I don't know if I'd call it effective, but I really like that they did it. So there's a point kind of around the halfway point, you're in a dark hallway, like all you can see really are these lamp fixtures on the walls. And then, okay, so let's say you're facing me, which you are, and this is a lamp fixture on a wall. So it tilts forward to make it seem more like the perspective seems like you're facing vertically upward. I would assume. Cool. And yeah, it's really appreciate that touch. Okay, so Despicable Me. The first pre-show room is bigger and more fully themed. Like, it doesn't have that, like, it's not like Hollywood where you go into a box to get to the next pre-show room.
Well, a lot of that's because of what it used to be.
Yeah, of course, what it used to be. Of course, with the Florida one.
Oh, Hanna-Barbera.
Hmm.
Beautiful creation.
Yeah, that does seem like it was a really good one.
Oh, it was fucking great. And I also found out that after Hanna-Barbera closed, they had it in other theme parks for a short amount of time.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think King's Dominion had it for a time.
I mean, I do really like Minion Mayhem, but still, Hanna-Barbera looks like it was also a really good one.
Oh, so good. Yeah. I'm just glad that Dick Dastardly was the villain.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few people who know who Dick Dastardly is, and I'm sorry for interrupting.
Of course, I'm sure it wouldn't have exactly aged well with lines like, "Nowadays, they're making cartoons even on computers."
No, they'd keep that line. They should absolutely keep that line to show just how outdated those Hanna-Barbera characters are, because it would still work. It still works that these old characters are now just realizing that they are now making cartoons on computers.
It was like either Hanna or Barbera who said it.
Was it? Even better. I think.
I'm guessing. Anyway, back on Minions.
Sorry.
My assumption is that the capacity is better in Hollywood, because
I'm sure.
Yeah, because in Hollywood, I think it's because Terminator left them with enough space, but they were able to make like 2 duplicates of the attraction in the building.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the building in Universal in Orlando is only one theater.
Yeah, it's only one. Like everyone's waiting to go through the same living room, the same lab, the same theater, and in Hollywood you get into one of 2 sets of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure that helps a lot out.
Oh, I'm sure, absolutely.
Let's see. New York spot, you got Twister, Ride It Out.
Oh, I remember going on that.
Do you remember Bill Paxton?
I don't, but I remember the random cow.
My God. Yeah, the cow, the random cow. Okay, we'll get to Bill Paxton in a bit. So, of course, Twister's counterpart in Hollywood was, of course, Backdraft, like most similar.
Backdraft was. I believe Backdraft was in Orlando as well.
But no, I don't think so.
Was it not?
No.
I don't know why.
It's still in Japan.
Is it still in Japan?
I think so. Yeah, I think Backdraft was probably stronger because like the hosts were more into it, I'd say.
It's a little bit more interesting of a concept as well.
Yeah, and also because like Twister, it doesn't feel as, because of the way it's done, because it's mechanical effects and such. It doesn't like, I never really felt like, oh my God, it's a God, it's a Twister. It's more like mechanical effects.
Yeah.
Whereas in Backdraft, it's fucking fire. That's real fire. That ain't no cloth. That's real fire.
It's all mechanical.
Yeah, I mean a couple mechanical effects, but fire, and it's real fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was going somewhere. It's kind of neat because, like, I did this with Backdraft too, but I opted for the stationary viewing spot of Twister. And what's cool about that is, like, if you look at the right time, it's like a moment where they spray water on the audience, and you don't get wet in the stationary spot. But if you look at the right point, it's like, so there's a strobe light, and in that second of a strobe light, you can see like water spurting out. It's a really neat visual. But yeah, and anyway, and yeah, I mean, and that second pre-show room with the destroyed house, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Bill Paxton. Yeah, so also aside from like, there's that first pre-show room is that montage from the movie Twister that goes on too long.
Yeah.
Funny story. So apparently Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt were fighting about something, God knows what, and they refused to be in the same place together. So that's why they were on like 2 different screens and 2 different sets.
It's wonderful.
As is Bill Paxton's performance, his wonderful performance. He's so clearly just reading off whatever cue cards are behind the camera.
Huh.
The movie Twister is about one of the most destructive forces known to man. It can do this and that, it's all destructive, but it can also be one of the most beautiful sights on Earth. I am Bill Paxton. Thank you for surviving Twister. Please exit to your left. This is Bill Paxton.
That's great.
Oh, thank you for surviving Twister.
I just like that he says this is Bill Paxton.
Yes, I know.
Constantly,
Let's just expand into other Universal attractions. Like, don't forget to retrieve your stored belongings, unless you want them confiscated by Mr. Filch. This is Bill Paxton. Have a good day in Hogsmeade. That's another one. Okay.
He's like an elderly man who just doesn't understand caller ID.
Hold on. They've selected you to fill our quota, and they'll haunt you until you return. This is Bill Paxton. I'll raise the safety bar, and the ghost will follow you home.
This is Bill Paxton.
And then, of course, Mummy. You've also got Mummy in the New York area.
Yeah. I've heard the Orlando one's better than the Hollywood one.
Yeah, I mean, I do really like the Hollywood. It's kind of funny. Like, I would wonder before the trip, like, I hope that going to Universal Orlando won't ruin Universal Hollywood. I haven't been to Hollywood since. I'm sure I will at some point this summer, but I'm not so concerned about Universal Hollywood being ruined, but I am kind of concerned about a negative effect on Mummy here.
I can see that.
Yeah, I do really like the Mummy one here, and I feel, even though like the one in Orlando probably should be considered the better one, I know I still really like them both for what they are.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like, the coaster portion is faster, a bit more intense than Hollywood. Like Hollywood, it's a reasonable question to keep your head against the headrest. Florida, that first banked turn begs to differ. And yeah, the backwards section is definitely better in Hollywood because it's not just one. Yeah. Not just one little drop. It's an actual coaster thing. The fake out, that's an interesting element.
I thought that was in the Hollywood version as well.
No.
Is that only in Florida?
Yeah.
That is, yeah, I do like that scene though. That's
and they spray a little bit of mist or water on you when the glass breaks.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Broken glass.
Yeah.
Which means like when you're going through the coaster port for the Egyptian underworld portion, you can't really see the illustrations things, the visuals that are flashing. Like in Hollywood, you can see whatever these drawings. You can see these images of skeletons. Warriors, mummy warriors. In Florida, like again, except for Egyptian hell, you can only because it goes so fast, you can only really make out just flashes of light. You can't see what they're illuminating, really. Yeah, there's this one moment I like in the Florida version, a great touch, where it's like there's a wall coming down, so of course, oh no, are we gonna make it in time? Yes, we do. Physically effects-wise, they take the scare a bit a little further in Florida. Like in Hollywood, it's just all projected on a wall, but in Florida, like they have some little hole in the wall that these little black rocks come out of. Obviously, it's supposed to be scarabs, and then like the columns in the room, like I'm sure they spin, and it's like there are scarabs on those. Yeah, thanks. Although Florida's I know the ending in Hollywood is a bit awkward, but Florida's it's also a little awkward. Like, Egyptian hell, oh my god, wait, is that the same? Wait, we're out of there? Well, hi, Brendan Fraser, coffee, and there's a mummy. Wait, what? Okay, let's unload. You know, Blue Dude, I would have enjoyed this podcast a lot more if I had gotten my cup of coffee! Fraser, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, Mummy looks like a cool ride.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
I do miss my King Kong.
Yeah.
That was a really great ride as well. That was a really cool ride, actually.
Yeah,
it's really unique.
Yeah.
Somebody from Disney designed that.
Huh. That sounds familiar.
It might have been Bob Gurr.
I'll look it up as we speak. So what would be the next area to discuss? Okay, I guess I could say Kid Zone. Or no, wait, Hollywood. They got the Lucy exhibit. That's really nice. It's kind of funny just how similar it looks to the NBC Museum, Universal Museum out here, which used to be a Lucy, of course.
Yeah. Who the hell did this? Oh, it's made by Arrow. Sorry.
Kong, yeah. I think I remember someone a Disney person making the Kong in Hollywood. Maybe. Memory's a bit fuzzy.
It's irrelevant. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So they still have Terminator. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you get to relive that.
Jesus.
And the horror makeup show. That's pretty funny. That's a keeper.
Yeah.
Definitely a funny one. It was funny because, like, before the trip, the guest is like, "So I'm assuming that I won't have to deal with Frozen out here unless someone has a shirt or a backpack or something."
Yeah. Wonderful.
So anyway, there was a moment in the horror makeup show where it's like one of the hosts is talking over like a montage of monster movie scenes. So then I think one of the last ones it shows is, or maybe the last is, the beginning of Frankenstein when they're digging up dead bodies. And the host says, "Oh, that's me burying my daughter's Frozen DVDs."
Huh.
There's a great line like a little bit later where the guy who's supposed to be the makeup artist says something, and it's almost like it could be a joke slogan for Universal in itself. It's like he says, like he's like kind of ticked off at an audience member, and at one point he says, "This isn't Disney World. I don't have to be nice to you."
Huh.
I kind of like how, like, because of course there are similarities to the old Creature Factory portion of the old special effects stages in Hollywood, but because they have more time in the horror makeup show, they can talk about it a little more, which is a benefit, of course. And the Pantages facade is nicely done also.
Is it?
Yeah, like speaking as someone who has been to Pantages several times, yeah. Relevant. So, Kid Zone, because people still know who Fievel is.
I know who Fievel is.
They have the Barney show for some reason.
Did you see it?
It's funny. Before I went, like in the months before I went, I was wondering if I should, because I did that Barney review on my channel. Like, does that make me obligated to? I ended up not. I checked out the Courtyard, but I ended up not seeing it. They've got the Curious George Playland, which I've wanted to see for so many years. So that's a dream come true.
That's a cool place.
Yeah, and I'm a huge, I freaking love George. So, so bonus points for that.
Yeah. Yeah,
and definitely, the water spot especially is nicer than what used to be in Hollywood. Maybe not as much the Ball Factory, but yeah, the water spot was definitely better than what was in Hollywood.
Okay.
Granted, was rethemed from a Nickelodeon playground, but
oh yeah.
There's this one thing I love, one of the little storybooks. It was supposed to be like, George tried to stop the hose, but it wouldn't stop, and they actually have the hose in the book coming off of the book spraying water.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a wonderful touch.
Huh.
We've got Gadgets Goes. Woody Woodpecker's Nuthouse Coaster.
I forgot about that ride.
I think it's faster than Gadgets Go Coaster.
It might be. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, that was interesting. Fievel's Playland, of course, an Animal Actors show I didn't see. I'm assuming it's Hollywood's.
I'm sure it's exactly like Hollywood's.
Yeah, from the little bit I've seen, it looks really a lot like Hollywood's.
Yeah, I remember the American Tail place being cool.
Yeah, look nice. And then of course E.T.
Oh, I wish I went on that.
Yeah, for mine, personally, I think it could possibly be the best Universal Orlando attraction.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Some elements of it may not have aged well, like the humans in the first portion of the ride. But still, it is kind of a little bit of a nuisance. You have to wait to get in the pre-show room, and then you have to wait in there for a few more minutes before you can get into the main queue.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I get on the ride now? Yeah, thanks. Spielberg. I appreciate your value, but you mind? I'd like to get on your ride. And
what is the pre-show? Isn't it just Spielberg talking about E.T.?
Like he tells you how E.T. needs you to help him because we just got a message from E.T.'s teacher Botanicus telling E.T. to get back home right away because like his home planet is dying and only E.T.'s magic touch can heal it, and you need to help him. And he tells you you'll be riding on the bikes and you need an interplanetary passport to go.
An interplanetary passport.
Well, I guess in the original, when the ride originally opened, the idea was that they're filming the ride is supposed to be like they're filming some sort of sequel based on scenes from the movie E.T. And you had to get a backstage pass.
Okay.
Because of course this is how they get E.T. to say your name at the end. Although I never heard him say mine. Maybe he said maybe he did say it and I couldn't understand it.
I've heard that there's some that he just doesn't say. Like he just can't. It's not the system, but still.
Next time I do it, I should put in my name as Zurg.
Oh, please do.
But yeah, and of course the forest room is really well done. I mean, this ride blew Peter Pan out of the water, I'd say.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That's another thing. The new Peter Pan queue is wonderful.
Yeah, I saw a video of it. It looks interesting. Yeah. And of course, we'll see what they're doing in here in Anaheim.
Oh yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I don't think
they're going to do here. And apparently, a decent amount of the changes are going to be physical stuff, which is good to hear. I have no idea what they're going to do, how they're going to do this nursery scene, or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like on a scale of things, E.T. is wonderful. Like really immersive, wonderfully themed, a good ride. Like it's kind of like it'll change acceleration. A lot of it is ascending or descending. The E.T. theme is beautiful.
Okay.
And it's got the singing mushroom.
I forgot about that.
Yes. As far as I'm concerned, that singing mushroom is the greatest, most legendary theme park character ever created. Like more than Dreamfinder, more than the Hatbox Ghost, more than a certain character I'll get to later. It's this guy. It's like the mushroom. Like during the part of the ride that is a bit of a drug trip, he's a mushroom, and he sings for some reason. Like he says pretty much, and what he's saying is pretty much the exact same thing Tickley just said. We literally just heard, "Welcome home, you've returned to us." What's the next guy say? "Welcome home, you've arrived." And he's got a rain cloud above him. Is it only because of the green planet dying, or is he like Eeyore and just gloomy? He's amazing.
It's just so genuine.
Glad to be of service. Let's see. So yeah, E.T. wonderfully done. What was it? Yeah, so Springfield. Springfield looks really good. I haven't seen completed Springfield in Hollywood. I mean, I've seen pictures of it. I haven't seen it in person yet. Looks like it might be better than Florida's. I was able to I got a decent idea because last time I was in Hollywood was January, and they were doing well with the project by then. Yeah, still, it does look really good. The King and Kodos ride is funny.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I love it. There's a couple signs in the queue about how much line there is. There's still line left. There's one that says, and I quote, "Clearly humans like waiting in line. You will be happy to know there is much more line to come." It's great. That's classic. They've got the Simpsons ride. The building's a bit more. The colors on the building are a bit faded.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think it stayed relatively fresh in Hollywood. I think.
Well, Hollywood's a bit newer as well.
Well, only by like a few weeks, I think.
Were they that close to each other?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. It was interesting because, like, I'd heard, like, you see some jerk with a camera Simpson ride review?
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, he mentions there's that one audio difference.
No.
Like, right before Homer gets hit by the wrecking ball, and he's like,
oh, yeah.
Stay seated. That's a load of, like, in Hollywood, he's like, that's a load of corporate, and then he gets whacked. And then in Florida, they cut out corporate. Well, it's interesting. Because when I went on it, he said corporate. I think my jaw actually dropped the first time. Because I'd always known that about how he didn't say corporate out there, and then suddenly he says corporate. Oh my god, he said corporate! But they replaced 3 of Homer's lines with new lines. And I'm not entirely sure if the new lines were Dan Castellaneta doing the voice.
What?
Yeah, because they sound different than, like, they sound sort of higher pitched and such. Like, they definitely sound different than Homer does in other spots of the ride.
That might just be the newer Homer voice.
But it's still Dan Castellaneta, right?
It should be. I mean...
A newer Homer voice, really?
I mean, it hasn't been that many years, but...
And I have no idea when this happened. I have no idea when this change happened, but yeah, they changed 3 of his lines.
Huh.
The only one that really, I'd say, doesn't work is the second one, but the other 2 are all right.
Okay. Yeah, it should still be Dan Castellaneta. I don't really know of anyone else.
Maybe it's just a bad audio replacement.
Yeah. Also, I mean, like, as...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, The Simpsons ride's still relatively recent, but as time's gone on, his voice has gotten higher pitched.
Huh. Interesting. And also,
like, the evolution of
the animation of Krusty at the end is different.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's because in Hollywood they take your picture, in Florida they don't.
Oh, okay.
Like in Hollywood, Krusty takes your picture at the very, very end.
Mm.
So it's like, and the dialogue is still the exact same. Like, the audio of Krusty's the exact same. Like, well, that's our ride. Hey, what does this do? And laugh. So in Hollywood, he pulls out a camera, presses the button, and of course, in both cases, you feel the vehicle vibrate.
Mm.
So it's like, hey, what does this do? Presses the camera, vibrate, picture. In Florida, he's like, well, that's a ride. He notices some giant red button on the wall. Hey, what does this do? Presses it. That makes it vibrate. Interesting difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Springfield. So then there's Men in Black. But in terms of the shooting dark reds I've been on, probably the best themed.
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah. But maybe it's just because I'm new to it, and I did get better with each ride, except for the one time the red button didn't work for me. Maybe I pressed it too early. But because I knew about the red button going in, which probably helped out a little.
Wait, what's the red button do?
So, like, when you enter the big bug, when you're about to enter it, it's kind of hard to hear, but Agent Zed says to push the red button. And if you do that, you get bonus points. Like, I think the time to press it is on the word push, when he says push.
Okay.
Like, doing that gives you, like, 100,000.
Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know. And again, maybe it's because I'm new to the ride, but it was pretty hard to tell which red dot was mine.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I have that problem on Buzz occasionally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens. And it's interesting, is like with the Express Pass, I mean, it's like you go through the regular queue and you get the sort of pre-show stuff with the Universe and You and the elevator, and you also pass by the coffee break room aliens. If you take Express, or I would assume single rider, like, you just go into a hallway, in a Men in Black hallway, and then you go into the immigration room and onward from there. So you don't go through the whole the whole universe and you ruse and any sort of, you're actually here at Men in Black.
Mm.
You don't go through any of that in the express line. Okay, let's see. San Francisco has disaster. How much do you know about disaster?
I went on it when it was an earthquake, and now it's entirely bizarre because it has the rock, and it should not have the rock.
I thought it was, a funny and a funny satire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to see.
The earthquake simulation is better in Hollywood.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say out of the attractions that use the Mugen eyeliner technology, it's the second best.
Okay.
At using that. Though, of course, Mystery Lodge and Knott's is still better at that kind of thing, but nevertheless, it's like with Mugen eyeliner, you can still tell it's like some sort of video there. Like Mystery Lodge, that definitely looks like there's a real person in the room. However the hell they do it in Mystery Lodge. But anyway, well, aside from The Rock, you know who else is in the attraction in Disaster?
No.
Okay, so he plays the conceited director of Disaster Studios. Like, he's kind of like runs the entire business. Like, even in the first room, like when they say his name, a light shines on this painting of him, and you can briefly hear a heavenly choir. And so you have no idea who plays him?
No, it's been a while since I've seen it.
Okay, recognize him? Do you recognize him?
Sort of.
Christopher Walken.
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, Christopher Walken is in a theme park ride. How wonderful is that?
That is absolutely wonderful.
Again, I still think the singing mushroom is more legendary, but still, it's Christopher Walken in a theme park attraction. You're welcome. Oh, yeah, that was I only did that one once, pretty early on. I wish I had done it again. I wish I'd done Hulk again. I wish I'd done the other side of Dueling Dragons, but hopefully next time.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of just leaves Potter Worlds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hogsmeade is wonderfully done, wonderfully designed. Dragon Challenge was a fun one. I only did the Hungarian Horntail side.
Okay.
I got lucky because when I went on, well, there was a way to go through the metal detectors, but then after that it was walk-on pretty much. So I'm glad I didn't have to wait for however long in those long stretching caverns that are the queue. That queue stretches on. Yeah, and really the only thing that bothered me was that is when you make braking and you make the turn to go back to the station, my head kind of banged against the headrest a little. But yeah, it was aside from that relatively smooth, pretty fast. Yeah, and I don't know how the Chinese fireball is. Flight of the Hippogriff's cute.
Yeah, I went on it when it was the
Flying Unicorn.
Yeah. That's when I went on it.
And of course they have Buckbeak in it. That's a lovely touch.
Yeah.
And then Forbidden Journey. Yes, the castle is really amazing to see in person, really cool to see in person. Something I like they do, I think they only do it in a slower season, and I don't know if Hollywood's going to do it. I don't know if Japan does it, but that's not relevant to me, so I don't know if Hollywood's doing it, but I guess if it's not too busy, they'll let you just go through the castle, just through the queue part.
I believe that originated in Japan, actually.
I think that originated in Florida.
Did it? I don't follow Universal. I don't know.
I think there's this great site I found when looking into the trip. It's called Orlando Informer. I definitely recommend it if you're thinking about going to Universal Orlando. Okay. Maybe we can add a link in the description or something. But yeah. So it's I think they added, but then they just made it only during if it's not super busy.
I mean, that makes sense.
And the great thing about it is instead of Forbidden Journey where you kind of just get funneled through each room, you can stay in there in whatever room as long as you like to hear the dialogue, which
That's cool.
sets up the stuff that happens in the ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ride itself, yeah, definitely in the top 3 of the trip, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say my top 3 were E.T. and Cat in the Hat and Forbidden Journey.
Okay.
YouTube videos do not do Forbidden Journey justice.
Oh, I'm sure they don't.
Yeah, like especially the physical parts. Like, I'd go as far as to say Forbidden Journey is the next Haunted Mansion.
No shit.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like, you know, some of the similarities, like highly themed, a good walkthrough thing portion before you actually get on the vehicle. The vehicles continuously load. They move cinematically. The vehicles move in a cinematic way. It's like, you know, Omnimovers will turn, pan you, whatever, and I guess the ramps qualify too, but like the way the Kuka arm moves, it can be pretty cinematic, like especially the reveal of the Whomping Willow, or what was it? Or when you go into the Salazar Slytherin statue. I love that moment. Like it tilts you up so you see like the face as you go in. Yeah, those Dementors are freaky. They are huge. Like, quite a startle if you're not expecting them.
Oh yeah.
Like, I didn't know exactly how they were positioned because, you know, YouTube videos of the ride are so good.
Yeah.
So like you exit the second video carousel. So I exit that one, and then suddenly Giant Dementor swings down from above.
Jesus.
Yeah, it got a scream out of me actually.
Huh.
You know, not a high pitched one, but like ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the effect where it's the soul sucking effect, only where they project your face onto a fog screen. Out of the times I went on it, it only worked once.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it still worked okay with that. It was kind of funny when it did work because it's like my face, big face, just projected on the mist, and I'm like some weird serious face, like what the hell? Are they really trying to suck on my soul? It was weird. Like the second time I went on the ride, so it's like in the second video carousel, right after the Dementors show up, suddenly, like the image goes all weird. Like it kind of looks like the sky on its side, and the ride stops.
Oh.
Yeah. So for maybe like a minute or so, and then kind of starts up again. Like the vehicle starts shaking, and then it stops again for like a minute or so, and then it resumes again. Like the vehicle is shaking, and the ride continues as normal.
It's weird.
Yeah. But yeah, wonderful ride, amazing ride. I think, you know, before going on it, I thought it was just cool that it's coming. Like, yeah, it's coming to Hollywood, cool. Now that I've been on it, I'd say now that I've been on it, I'm actually excited that it's coming to Hollywood.
Cool.
Although it will be interesting to see how the 3D turns out.
Oh, I forgot that they were doing that.
Yeah, I guess they already started doing 3D in Japan. And then Hollywood is going to open in 3D.
I'm not sure how that would work.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because like I'd say that, except maybe for entering and exiting the screens, the video carousels, like when you're in those parts, I'd say it's more convincing than Soarin'.
Oh, I can see that. My only problem is that
because of the way it's set up and intimacy, and it's an intimate ride. Like the way it's set up and the way the restraint is, it kind of limits your field of vision, makes it more specific.
My only concern is that with the ride system, that would just create more motion sickness.
Yeah, that is a concern, definitely. There's also the question of the 3D itself, like how good it is. Like
that as well.
As I'll get into with a certain other part of the attraction. Yeah, so Hogwarts Express. Kind of like the rest of the stuff they added to the rest of the Potter expansion last year. I mean, all the physical stuff, like especially the King's Cross stuff, is really super well done. Like I remember like being in King's Cross waiting for the train, and like waiting down before you go upstairs to where you go through the wall. Just in what's like regular Muggles King's Cross, and you have like all the suitcases up against the wall. I think at one point I was like, this is a theme park? So yeah, wonderfully done. Like the train, of course, is pretty cool. I like how it's not the window is a screen. Like you have the window, you have the window pane, and then the screen is like an inch or two away from it.
I mean, that makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah, if I'm being coherent.
It creates depth.
Yeah. I just wish the video was a little better, because like, I did it once each way. And the first time, like, so you're riding along, and it's like, I'm watching a video game.
Wonderful.
Yeah. But nevertheless, and yeah, and it's pretty cool with that. What I find really cool about the whole connecting parks thing is that it really does make the parks feel more unified, I'd say. Like it's all just one big park. Like for me, like when you get off, like say the first time I did, because first time I did the train was from Islands to Studios, and so like that was how I got into the studios for the first time.
Yeah.
Taking the train in there. So it's like I take the train from Islands, get off, and so I exit into London, and there's Simpsons area across the waterfront, and it's like, and it was weird to think that I was in a different park.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something I hadn't really thought about beforehand, but yeah, it really does make two parks feel more like one.
No, it's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
To do that, and I wish other parks would do that, honestly. No, Disney sort of does it, but not really.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Where was I? So, Diagon Alley, the land itself, quite possibly a bit cooler than Hogsmeade.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think a big thing about it is how, like, unless you're in a couple certain spots, you can't really see Diagon Alley. It's like Hogsmeade and Hogwarts, you can kind of see from other areas, but Diagon Alley is like, closed off from the rest of the park, which makes it all the more immersive. Not as much for the extended queue of Gringotts, but yeah, the land itself, it is beautiful. I got a chance to do Ollivanders in Diagon Alley.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I actually got chosen.
Cool.
Yeah, I do not have my wand with me at this time, but I have a picture of me outside the shop with my wand. Voila.
Cool.
Birch, unicorn tail. Yeah. It was like, I didn't know if I would be chosen because I'm not a young child.
Yeah.
Yeah, so see, I would go in the room, and like the lady in there is like, "Welcome to Ollivanders. We have been the makers of fine wands since 382 BC." And she looks straight at me, like, "You step forward." But yeah, it was, yeah, so getting to go through the wand experience, that was magical. I know, original choice of word, but seriously, that was definitely a memory maker.
Cool. Yeah, I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
If I ever go to Universal again.
Yeah, and I got lucky because, like, I don't know about other times, but I think for, again, doing the Diagon Alley one, I just had to wait for a room to open.
Yeah.
Like no one else, not really anyone else ahead of us much. Because, of course, I'm sure it helps a lot, Diagon Alley having 3 theaters instead of the one like Hogsmeade.
Oh. No, absolutely.
Yeah. The stage, the live entertainment in Diagon Alley is fun, although the audio system is pretty damn loud.
No, is it?
Yeah. And I wear I use earplugs at places like that, like theme parks or movies, whatever. Like tone it down the noise. And that pair of the certain plugs I was using at the time may have been going a little not as effective, but yeah, that audio was pretty loud on the loud side. Puppets were cool in their Beetle the Bard show. That was a neat little show.
Yeah, no, that does look like a cool show.
Yeah. So I guess Gringotts.
Yes.
Have you seen POVs of Gringotts?
I have, but not in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I prefer Forbidden Journey.
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest problem with Gringotts was the 3D.
Okay.
Maybe it's better in the rows that aren't front rows, like if you're in a middle or back row of a cart. But like the 3D can be on the flat side, or there's some weird digital ghosting on faces at times. Like I'd say it's the weakest 3D in the resort.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's part of why I'm sort of concerned about the 3D version of Forbidden Journey. Like we already saw how this Potter attraction did with 3D. And I didn't see Deathly Hallows Part 2 in 3D, so I can't speak for that. I don't know how it compares. But yeah. I mean, the ride does have some great physical sets. I really like the musical accompaniment with the ride. Like, except for the beginning and end, Forbidden Journey is mostly no music. Whereas Gringotts has, a musical score throughout.
Yeah.
Adds to the ride as scores often do. There's this one touch I love where it's like you're in front of a screen and, you have a track that the trio are on and it goes through the Thief's Downfall. And then as you go to the next scene, you pass by where the track would theoretically go, and there actually is a big track that you pass under, continuing from that screen.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of fog pouring over it that's supposed to be the Thief's Downfall. It's funny. There's this trick in the climax lava room place where I guess they use a Kuka arm to move away part of the screen so that you can go through it. And I'd heard beforehand, like, for the record, I would abstain from try to know as little about the actual ride going in. I'd heard about like something about a hole that was a problem. I had an idea. I think I'd heard something about going through a screen, so I assumed it may have had something to do with that. I didn't know what it was. And I didn't really see any case of that when I was there. So then I look back on like the Orlando Informer forums when I get back. And based on the stuff they were saying in there, it seems like the day I went on Gringotts for the first time was the day the effect started working again.
Oh.
How wonderful is that timing?
Yeah.
Yeah. The first screen of the ride is not very good. Very clearly a screen. It's not exactly the most legible. The 3D is super flat. It doesn't blend in with the physical set at all. The way the vehicles are set up, you can't really get a good look at it. I mean the teeter-totter track element is cool, which is where I was going with the whole small world as Escape from Gringotts thing. And I guess it's kind of neat how, you can have that spinning mechanism go through a coaster portion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the best, I guess the best mixing a screen with a physical set, and also the best 3D in the ride is that one point where you see the goblin friend run by, and he's like, "Oh, this way, you'll be safe in there." And it's like, it's more so especially when you pass right by him, he's all, "You should be safe in there!" Like, that is where the 3D works the best. Like, I wouldn't say it looks like there's a physical character there, but, you know, it actually does seem like kind of like a more three-dimensional Mugen eyeliner effect.
Okay.
Like there's actually some sort of 3D character there away from the wall on this platform. And the screen blends in with the physical set really well, so it's hard to tell what's the set and what's the screen. Yeah. Still, the best 3D in the ride is only like that few seconds.
Yeah.
I had something. I had something. It is pretty cool that Voldemort shows up.
No, does he?
Yeah. Yeah, he actually turns up. I kind of like the way they stage it. Like, probably works better if you're a Potter fan and you know who these characters are. But it's like you enter this vault and then suddenly there's an explosion. As the dust settles, Nagini appears, and you're kind of like, "Oh God, a snake! Is that Nagini or is it just some snake?" And then you hear Voldemort speaking Parseltongue, and he and Bellatrix emerge from the wreckage. Like, I know you've seen Harry Potter. He was in your vault, Bellatrix. Yeah, it's cool. Like, oh crap, Voldemort's here. I knew he was in the ride, but still. And he's having perhaps a little dose of pain to help you remember. They didn't get Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson to reprise their roles for
did they not?
Rain. No. Whoever they got to do Harry's voice is pretty decent. Hermione's not that much. It's very clearly not Emma Watson. I find it weird how, of course, so you have that whole scene in the movie where they're riding on the cart down the tracks and you get a lot of POV shots of the track and you think that of course would inspire a big inspiration for the ride. And there's no scene like that in the ride.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when they're going along the tracks in the movie, you never get to experience something like that.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like, I feel the ride could have used another draft or two. The attraction could have used another draft. I do like how the ride is a kind of funny moment or two.
Okay.
Like, I'd say the best one is, it's already after Bill's like, oh, you almost went through the Thief's Downfall. I'm sorry about Bellatrix. And then the trio show up. Well, that means trouble. So then you get attacked by the security trolls who, the first time I went, I thought they were enchanted metal. Didn't realize at all they were trolls. But anyway, and you nearly free fall, and then Bill saves you. So, welcome to Gringotts. Perfectly safe, as you can see. And I think before he even finishes saying that, enter fire-breathing dragon. That's a lovely moment of comedy. And of course, the queue is really good.
It looks really good.
Yeah, like that first room with the goblins at the desks, that's probably the best part of the attraction. Like, it is friggin' incredible. It's sort of weird, like, there's a point in the line where you go into a booth and you have your picture taken. Which is, it's like, that's where your souvenir photo is, because they don't do it on the ride.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when you're first experiencing it, it's like, okay, cool, that's kind of a neat gimmick, it's a new thing you can do with queues. But then after the ride, you think about it, and it's like, wait, that's almost like a joke. Like, oh, we're not going to take your photo on the ride, but we will take your photo while you're waiting in line! Yeah, Excelsior! I think you can it seems like you can ask to skip that part. Like, that's what we did the last time we did it.
Oh,
just skipped the picture.
Huh.
Yeah. I like how, in comparison to Forbidden Journey, they try to make it so that you can, Harry and Hermione and Ron and Griphook talking behind the windows, it depends on luck more so, whether you're going to hear that. But say, like, the other pre-show rooms, they try to make it so that you will catch everything. I think they could have set some stuff up a bit better. Like, it's not really clear why Bill is kind of suspicious about something. Like in the pre-show, he's like the goblin friend is like, "What are you doing here? We haven't seen you." And Bill, "I just need to pick up a few things and I'll be off." "You haven't seen me." "Actually, I'll join you." And we never really realize what the deal is. Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, also with that first pre-show room, I'd say that's the best Mugen eyeliner technology in the resort. Like, probably, yeah, like in Forbidden Journey, they're a bit more transparent. Disaster, I'd say it's better than Disaster. Like, a little more convincing. I mean, they still look relatively flat, just slightly three-dimensional. Mainly in the arms look the most convincing. But yeah, it's interesting with that room because I understand, you got to keep the line moving, but like when they tell you to, it really feels like, okay, we're entering this room. A little banter with Bill and this goblin. Now get out. Like it feels like they send you out super quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they enter the room with the goblin who does the safety spiel. It's pretty fun. I love it. It's like, "The ride you're about to go on is not for everyone. Some muggles might call it a high-speed roller coaster with sudden spinning and dropping motions, as well as sudden acceleration and stopping." And
That's oddly specific.
Yeah, I love that. And like when he goes about the regulations of people who shouldn't ride, he like pulls out a scroll of It's weird, like how when he's not doing his thing, he's just frozen.
Oh, yeah.
He might have a rule animation. Other portraits in this thing do. Something I like in this Gringotts queue that's improved upon from Forbidden Journey, newspaper pictures. It's like the newspaper picture in the Forbidden Journey queue, there's a bit of a glow to it. The newspaper pictures in the Gringotts queue blend in perfectly with the newspaper. The lift is neat, but it's pretty easy to figure out how they do it. Like if you just look regularly, you're likely to figure it out. Because the way the elevator in Gringotts works is that I'm sure that it doesn't elevate or go down anything, but the floor bounces.
Does it?
Yeah, which is weird because like the rest of the room, like the walls and such, stay still. So you can tell like maybe it would have been too much weight or whatever to make the whole room jostle, but make the whole room bounce. I find it especially interesting because Men in Black right next door also has a fake elevator. They do that with just a vibrating floor and lighting effects. So it's interesting to compare the two. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Gringotts, I don't think Gringotts is a bad ride.
Yeah.
It just, it's like I take a seat on Forbidden Journey. I'm like, holy shit, I'm on Harry Potter on the Forbidden Journey. I take a seat on the Gringotts vehicle, and I'm like, there's not enough leg room. I mean, the leg room thing isn't as bothersome during the ride, but during the actual ride. Yeah. Like, I get off Forbidden Journey, like, holy shit, that was amazing. Like, you get off Gringotts, like, that was kind of neat. Yeah.
I think a lot of it's because they built it up so much.
Yeah, and I did try to keep my expectations lower. Like, I try to go in being like, just expect Transformers. I may have built the 3D up too much because, like, I was expecting that, this huge, major, supposedly groundbreaking attraction. I was assuming that the 3D would be super good, like unbelievably good, and turned out that wasn't the case. It would be nice if there was a physical character in the ride, as our good friend Tiki would say.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious how, like, in terms of, say, the 3D or in terms of actual physical moving characters, in both those respects, Voyage to the Iron Reef may have Gringotts beat.
Jesus Christ.
I know. Voyage to the Iron Reef beating Gringotts in some way.
Wonderful.
Because, like, great in Voyage to the Iron Reef, there's a moment where it's like there's some little rock with like a sort of rock with a statue of a robotic eel attached to it that spins around. It's something. It's more than Dead Megatron, which is more than Gringotts.
It counts.
Yeah. I did not see their cinematic, spectacular nighttime shows, so.
I forgot about that as well. That's supposed to be a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, still Universal. That was a fine trip. Now I'm the one who's been rambling. So do you have nothing more to say about Disney World? Your trip?
Only my magic. Actually, one thing I forgot to say.
Oh yeah, that. By the way, how long were you there?
10 days. I came home last Sunday.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was at Universal like four full days and nights and morning.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I do want to say that what Disney World is doing with queues is absolutely incredible.
Is it?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I was actually very surprised. Haunted Mansion, actually, where does it start?
Yeah, I was literally just gonna say, so how's Haunted Mansion's queue?
Well, it starts with Space Mountain. Space Mountain's kind of iffy.
Right.
They kept the charm, but at the same time, I went on Space Mountain Saturday morning. It said 10-minute wait. It was really a walk-on, and the only reason it was a 10-minute wait was because people kept stopping at the fucking game to play the game.
Yeah. It was like last time I was at Disney World was literally like maybe a couple months before, like a few months before Space Mountain went down for that refurbishment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like
it's still basically the same. It
right.
just they just changed a few things.
Yeah, like the queue and the exit aesthetics.
Yeah.
The right, like stereophonic sound.
That came after. That's.
Yeah, I remember.
It's pointless. I wish it would add like actual music instead of just trying to like remix the Disneyland music. But that's beside the point. The Space Mountain queue is kind of iffy. Haunted Mansion queue I like more than other people like, though it does have problems. I do like that they still put a rose on Master Gracie's grave, even though it's in the middle of the queue. I also enjoy that nobody has taken the rose yet. So both of those are good things. What I was really impressed by was the Big Thunder Mountain queue.
Right.
The last time I went, it had just opened, but for some reason, I don't think I really ever went through it because I either kept getting fast passes, the line was really low. So, like, I forced myself to go through it a few times because it's a really cool queue. It has some interactive stuff in the like on the mountain. Like they're you can detonate dynamite on the mountain, and then it's just like water that comes up. They have a few other games, but there's also what's really cool is that there are pieces of there's like letters and various things where that expands the story. So Big Thunder Mountain has an owner named Barnabas T. Bulliam, and he's modeled after Tony Baxter. And it's cool. It's cool not just because of that, but also because he's a member of C. And you find that out in one letter that is in the queue. So if you read that, you will find out that he's a member of C, which is very cool because that's the first instance of C in the United States. So in that respect, I was happy. But also, it connects all of the other frontier lands together. Yes, as you continue through the queue, you see stagecoach advertisements that have prices listed for Rainbow Ridge, for Dry Gulch, for Tumbleweed, for all the frontier lands, all the other like
Thunder Mesa in there.
Yes, yeah, Thunder Mesa's in there. They're all in there. It's really cool. And then at one point, there's a map of Big Thunder Mountain, And in that is the Rainbow Caverns, which I find it's really interesting how that's included in that. And it's cool how that's still in the lore of Big Thunder Mountain, even though it's not in the ride. And even though it was never a part of the ride. So,
in Florida, is it still an earthquake scene in the third lift?
sort of. All the rocks that used to move are now gone. I don't know why. They should put them back in. That's
In their place.
something with it. That's really the only problem I have with that ride, is that the third lift is in terrible condition.
Like, I remember seeing stuff a while back, like some years back, about like just tarps and such in there.
Tarps are all gone, but so
Okay.
are the rocks.
Hmm.
It's just really not in good shape, that lift. For the rest of the ride's fine. The only thing I really noticed was that the possums were gone. But that's not a
Fucking
huge
Zurg.
deal. What?
Fucking Zurg.
Yeah, god damn him. But the queue
I
for
need
Big
possums to power my secret weapon. Possums. I need more possums.
Give me possums. Now.
Why don't you sound like you did in the movie? It's a long story. Ask Andrew Stanton about it.
The queue is really absolutely amazing. The
Uh-huh.
new Big Thunder Mountain queue. It's just so highly detailed. I would actively try to read everything. I went through that queue probably 7 times, and I still missed a lot of it. The new Peter Pan queue is really interesting because
Yeah, I recently saw a video of it.
it's really cool though, because it sets up the story for the ride. So, because there's the small outside part, then there's a switchback, then you go inside, and then you go through a small hallway that has a bunch of portraits explaining the story of Peter Pan, and then you're at the doorstep of the Darling House. And then you go inside, then you go through the bedroom, and then there's an outside portion for the queue. And then you load and you're on the ride. So it's really interesting because it really does set up the story. Also, at the end of that inside queue, you get
Sprinkled in pink.
Yes.
Pictures, right? Yeah.
Yes. But I just really enjoy how it sets it up. Sets up the story for the ride, which I find really interesting, especially for a Fantasyland Dark ride like that.
Mhm.
And then of course there's the Winnie the Pooh queue,
Right.
which is a really nice queue. Little Mermaid's okay. But they're doing, Magic Kingdom especially is doing really, really interesting things with queues. And I wish I would.
This, if tying into a recent talking, Mr. Banks, if I may ask, how are the playgrounds at Walt Disney World?
There aren't any. What do you mean by playgrounds?
I don't know, stuff like Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, or Tom Sawyer's Island, or
Oh, I mean,
Great House.
Tom Sawyer's Island is the same. It's been the same since the 70s.
I've never gotten to go on the one there.
Oh yeah? It's
Yeah.
nice. You can go into the fort.
Yeah, they have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are still a few things in Florida, in Disney World, I still haven't done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the Tower of Terror.
You haven't done Tower of Terror?
It's funny because not the Florida one. It's like I remember, like around the time, not too long after it opened here, I went on it twice, and then I didn't go again, and then until like literally shortly after I'd come back from my last trip to Disney World, I arrive at Disney with a friend. We're entering the Esplanade, and he's like, "Hey, let's go on Tower of Terror." And I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I was just like, "Okay." I've been going on it since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so far superior in Disney World.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Next time.
What? Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
But
That's so cute.
What they're doing with queues is really incredible. I wish they would put that effort into rides. But
yes.
My main problem that I found when we were down there was My Magic Plus. It's a great system, but half the rides do not need FastPass. And the problem with My Magic Plus is that you have to schedule a FastPass 60 days in advance. So, especially for people who haven't been there before, They don't know what the fuck they're doing. So they get fast passes for Haunted Mansion, and they get fast passes for Small World, and they get fast passes for rides as such. And because of that, and because they don't realize that they absolutely do not need a fast pass for any of those rides, the ride that would normally have a 10-minute wait on the busiest day ever now has a 40-minute wait because they're trying to cycle through all the fast pass people as quickly as possible, while also trying to appease those who are smart enough to not get fast pass for those rides. Pirates has been abysmal. That's the other thing. The refurbishment for that is so it needs it. It really needs it. But
well, how are the mermaids?
Mermaids are gone.
They are? That effect's gone?
They're there, but I haven't seen them work while I was down there. I saw them work the last time I went down, just not this time. Yeah. I'm sure they'll get the effect restored. I was really surprised, too, because there was one day I went on, and the waterfall effect with Blackbeard was unbelievably clear. So I don't know what they did, but they did it.
They still have Blackbeard out there in the waterfall?
Yeah, he's been there for a while.
Okay.
I wish they would take him out, but he's there.
I think the waterfall has been back to only Davy Jones for a while out here.
I thought they've been alternating.
Well, I mean, they did that they used to.
Now it's back to just Davy Jones.
For a while now, it's been just Davy Jones on the waterfall. Although I think they still alternate on the lift hill. The voices.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but My Magic Play, it just creates so many problems. Journey into Imagination consistently had a 45-minute wait.
Wow.
That should never happen.
Journey into Imagination had... Wow. What?
The problem is that these families go, they're like, oh, cool, a kid's ride. This looks delightful for my young child. And they get a fast pass because, you absolutely need that. And then the other people who didn't get a fast pass because they don't know what it is or they realize that they don't need a fast pass try to get in their one obligatory ride in. And they get stuck in the line not realizing that it's not a walk-on anymore. Because before this time I went down, literally every goddamn time I've gone on that ride, it has been a walk-on or a 2-minute wait.
Yep.
And now, the first time we went to Epcot, the line was out the door. One of the times we went, the line was into the lobby, which
the first time you went to Epcot, so was it the current version of Figment?
Oh, no, I mean the first time I went this trip.
Okay.
Yeah. It was out the door. This time, one of the later times in the week, the line went to the lobby, which is still excessively long for that ride. But it should never be that long. It really should not be. And the only reason it is because of FastPass Plus.
Huh.
Also, I've been noticing a terrible bottlenecking issue with Haunted Mansion.
Really?
Yeah, because they, what they do is they, the outside portion of Haunted Mansion is this gigantic open corridor, but the problem is that they decided not to install switchbacks. So it's a clusterfuck until you are pushed to the side, to the left side, to get into the interactive queue. So you can cut the line. I don't condone it, but I also totally haven't done it. But it works, and they really should install switchbacks, because it really is a clusterfuck there. And yeah. Again, that was also consistently maybe a 15-minute wait before My Magic Plus was installed.
Still. Haunted Mansion, as opposed to Journey into Imagination with Figment.
Wait time, you mean?
No, I mean like attraction quality.
Oh, no, absolutely. Haunted Mansion is a much better
quality. I honestly do enjoy the current Imagination. Like, I've never been on any of the others. Maybe there's some nostalgia factor in it, but I honestly don't mind the new one, but still, Haunted Mansion.
I mean, I don't mind the new Journey into Imagination, but the thing with that is that the new version is really soulless. And a lot of the original version was that it was so charming, and that it really inspired because it was designed to fit in with Epcot's original purpose, and it did. Absolutely, it did. But that non-brand, yeah, that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
But My Magic Plus has a ton of problems with it. I really like the system. I really like Magic Bands. I really like their convenience. But at the same time, it was entirely unnecessary for them to
Add it to
put
a bunch of
fast.
other ones.
Yeah, to add it to every ride on property, even so far as ruining the goddamn queue for pirates. They redesigned the queue, and I was not happy. Just because the queue for pirates is probably the original queue for pirates was probably one of the best designed queues ever, and there was crowd control because you could split off, and the line didn't get too long because of that. But now with FastPass Plus, they opened a thing to the side. You only see the only way to see the chess playing skeletons is by going in the FastPass Plus queue, which I no no. But now the regular queue is pushed off to the left instead of being able to choose between both sides. So the queue is consistently out the door because of that, and it never used to be. The line used to consistently be at like a 20-minute wait. Now it averages around 30, 45. But
guess we'll see if anything of that comes over here.
where are they putting it? It's going somewhere.
If it's even coming.
No, it is, actually.
It's coming. We'll see what's going on. Let's weird. Apparently they brought back Fast Pass for Buzz Lightyear.
Did it not happen before?
Well, it did with Wind, and then somewhere in the past, I want to say 5 years or so, maybe they took it out. And then those Fast Pass machines became Fast Pass for the new Star Tours when that opened.
Okay.
And I guess they made two of the machines Fast Pass for Buzz now.
Okay.
They also brought back Fast Pass for the Haunted Mansion when Hatbox Ghost returned.
That makes sense. That makes entire sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because timing it with that.
Yeah. It's not like they just said, oh, this needs it. It's more like...
Yeah, because, like, this needs it outside of Holiday.
Yeah. Like, for
I think for the last year, or maybe last year or two, they started toying with not having it during Holiday at certain times.
I can see that, but also it gets really popular during the holidays.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, that's why they have it during Holiday.
Yeah, exactly. So in that sense, I suppose it makes sense. But Hatbox Ghost makes entire sense because for the next 2 months, everyone's going to be rushing to that solely to see the Hatbox Ghost, which is really incredible.
Yeah.
That people are so dedicated to wait for an hour to see one animatronic.
Right. It's funny. I remember like being on a bus, on one of the Toy Story buses to the park somewhere, like shortly before the trip, and there were some girls in there commenting like they didn't understand why so many people were excited about an animatronic. I didn't say anything. It was also funny. I think that was when I went to go on Grizzly River Run, because I haven't done that one in years. Like a lot of why I've stayed off of it was because of water levels. Gave it a chance before the Universal trip as a way to prepare for Popeye, which I ended up never going on. I may have also gotten lucky on Grizzly. And I had a good time on Grizzly, so it wasn't. So there's some win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Hatbox. Yeah, good times. Good times.
Cool. Yes, I've at least exhausted pretty much everything I want to talk about.
Yeah, I can't think of much else to say either. It was a nice hotel. I did club level, which is always helpful because then you don't have to pay for meals as much.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done that in Disney World also.
Cool.
So, yeah, it does help, and yeah, it does help. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty good.
So, I believe that's it, and it seems as though we've gotten through our first show without Tiki.
Yes, it would appear so. Yes.
Yes.
Mew, are you listening? Are you ready to do that Knots show?
Spew here? Hi,
Oh, no, I'm just playing with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, seriously, let's see if we can do that during the summertime soon.
If you're watching this, hi. I just want to say hi.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you around.
Yes. And come see me in something for once.
I forgot that you did that.
You know what I mean. You know I love you.
You guys have been in the same room, but you did not meet.
It's because social awkwardness on my end.
It happens.
Yeah, it's not exactly a topic for right now. But.
Yeah. Okay, so goodbye, everybody. I don't know how to end shows. So
okay, so that was talking about the Florida thing, or the two big Orlando resorts.
Yeah.
I have no experience with SeaWorld, and I don't know if I ever will, so.
I haven't been to SeaWorld since I was 3. I've been to SeaWorld in San Diego. That one's nice.
I haven't been to there since like 2010 or so.
I haven't been there since like 2006. But it's a damn nice park. They got cool stuff.
I could throw in some Blackfish thing, but I'll try not to. Okay, what if someone tries to do that with the dragon in Gringotts? Makes a documentary about the dragon and how it's mistreated.
Yeah, free the dragon.
Speaking of which, Tiki, I am thinking that children, it may be high up enough that children can avoid looking at it. There may be a big gray mass in their upper peripherals, but they may be able to avoid looking at it.
Okay, so thank you for joining us for this clusterfuck.
Yes,
join us next time.
Yes, I am Monkey.
I'm not. Goodbye. Join us next time. We'll be talking about something else. Goodbye.